Hi, good evening, good morning, and good afternoon to wherever you are. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being here today. We are so glad that you can join us. So, first and foremost, let me just introduce myself. My name is Kyla. I'm the content specialist here at InUnique Global. And today we have an exciting session ahead because we will be diving into two distinct MBA paths at Herzing University. Whether you're exploring graduate studies for the very first time or considering the next steps in your career, this session will give you a valuable, insight into unique opportunities these MBA programs can offer. So, okay, next part. I'm very, very excited for this part because I will be, introducing such amazing panel for today and speakers for today. So, first and foremost, we're delighted to welcome Anissa Neal, who currently serves as the Director of International Admissions and Operations at Herzing University. In this role, she leads strategic initiatives to support international students' enrollment and oversees operational processes to enhance student experience. So, welcome, Anissa. Thank you so much for being here today. How are you?
Hey, Kyla. I'm great. Thank you. And thank you for setting up this webinar. And thank you, everyone out there, for attending. We're really excited to share some information with you guys today about our programs.
Thank you so much for that, Anissa. Next up, we have Dr. Denise Greaves, a distinguished professor at Herzing University. She oversees the strategic direction of programs, ensuring they not only meet but exceed the standards of academic excellence. Thank you so much for being here, Denise. How are you today? Lovely to have you
I am
here.
great. I am great. Thank you so much for having us, and welcome to all of you joining us this morning.
Amazing. Thank you so much for that. And lastly, we have Monsef Manzouri, the Regional Director at Inuni Global USA, where he oversees key markets across the Middle East, Africa, and Turkey. So he also brings extensive experience not only in international student recruitment, but also from his background as an account manager and his work in the financial sector. Great to have you here, Monsef. How are you doing today?
I'm okay, Tyler. Thank you for your warm welcome, and thank you for our all our attendees.
Thank you so much, Monsef. Amazing to have you here, guys. Before we begin, a quick note to everyone. Please know that this session is being recorded and a link to the recording will be shared with you right after this session. So also, we do encourage you to ask questions throughout this webinar, even at the start, even now. If you have any questions in your mind right now, please use the Q&A box just below your screen. So our speakers will address as many as possible during the session, and we will follow up with you via email just in case we don't get into your questions. All right, so let's get to the main reason why we are here. I'm very sure many of you are eager to learn more about Herzing University and why it could be the right choice for you. So, to give us a deeper look and share those insights, let me just now call on Anissa.
Hi, sure. Thanks, Kyla. And again, thank you everyone for attending. We are going to focus our webinar today mostly on our graduate programs, the MBA and our MBA in Business Analytics. So everything that you hear today as we talk through programs and admissions requirements is going to be specifically related to those two programs. So keep that in your mind as we talk about everything that we go through here today. But a little bit about Herzing. Herzing was started back in 1965 in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and we were started originally as a family school, like a small institute, specifically in the field of technology. And we have grown and grown and grown. We just actually opened a brand new campus in Clarksville, Tennessee, just a few weeks ago. I believe we have 13 campuses now, even though this slide here says 12, because we did this PowerPoint presentation actually just before that campus opened. And so we're really excited with the growth that we have. And Herzing really focuses on the being caring, convenient, and career focused for all of our students. And so our education that you receive here is not only going to be lecture based, but you're going to get a lots of hands-on and realistic real-world training as you go through your programs here. And so it's really great for students to get both sides of that education, not just the lecture-based materials that many countries are most familiar with. So we're really proud to offer that to our students. Some other important facts about Herzing that may be important to you is that we have quick admissions decisions. So usually within 48 hours of a complete application, a student will know if we are going to be able to accept their application, and then their I-20 usually follows right after that. We have no upfront deposit prior to visa approval. Students will never have to actually pay anything to Herzing University until their visa is approved. We do not require any GMAT or GRE for our graduate level programs, which is great. So no additional tests. We just review academic transcripts, and we're looking specifically for a GPA that we'll go over in just a bit. While we do have lots of campuses here in the USA, we do have all of our international students coming currently to our campus that's based in Atlanta, Georgia. It's actually just slightly north of Atlanta in the Sandy Springs area. It's actually a brand new, beautiful property there that we absolutely love. It's in a really good area, lots of shopping and housing and lots of just synergy and energy for international students. And our international students have really loved it and thrived there since we have moved to this location. But all of our students are there in Atlanta, and there's so many reasons. In addition to the things I just said, weather is one, that we've got a much milder climate than some of the northern parts of the country where our other campuses are. So Atlanta is where all of our international students are located. Also, our student to faculty ratio is really important, and one of the things that really sets Herzing University apart from other major universities, and that our faculty to student ratio is about 14 students to 1 instructor. And so that means our class sizes are smaller. We can give students more closer attention. The professors know who their students are. Just having that relationship and being able to ask those questions and being able to feel like your professor knows you can be really comforting to our international students who have come halfway around the world to go to school. They feel like they have someone that they can lean on and that knows them. And I think that's really helpful for our students. And then lastly, we do have 3 intakes every year. So we actually just started our fall intake yesterday. We've got a brand new group of excited and vibrant international students that I was able to see on campus yesterday. They're all really excited to start classes. And we are currently recruiting for our classes that will begin in January. And we are also recruiting for May. We aren't seeing a ton of applications for May just yet since we have January open. But if students are in a location that kind of the preference would be for them to apply for the May intake, we are accepting applications for that semester as well. And a little bit more about Herzing and kind of our overall thoughts on education and how we run our school. These are all kind of guiding principles that we have as we recruit students and as they matriculate through our programs and also even beyond graduation. And those are listed here: accelerated, guided, engaged, value added, and supported. And I'll talk just briefly about each one of these. And I'm going to start from the bottom because why not? So supported here. Support is one of the things that we really pride ourselves in at Herzing University. We have a student-centered approach that students really get from all angles of resources. And right now, as we just began our semester yesterday, I can really call out a lot of these as how we have really used them for students, but support from, again, all angles. We have student services, registrar services. Our international students also use our DSO services that can help them with any immigration challenges that they may be having. But just a great group of people that are here to support our students, from helping them make sure they know what to do to stay in status, to helping them get to class on the first day when they're not sure exactly where to go. So lots of support on campus for all of our students, not just our international students. And then beyond graduation, even for this as well. So career development department that can help our students while they're in school with resumes and getting ready to apply for internships, all the way through applying for their first job and even beyond that. So just next week, we have a career fair that's going to be on campus that all of our Herzing University alumni are invited to. So that includes all of our international student alumni that are still in the US. So we're constantly doing things to help our students in the market, help make sure that they are happy with positions they have. If they need new positions or want new positions or just want to grow in their career, we continue to help them with that beyond graduation as well. And then value added, this is also something that's really great, in that many of our faculty and at Herzing are adjunct faculty that also work in the space that they're teaching. So they have a lot of current knowledge in the field, so that they can pass that along to their students. So maybe they are teaching at Herzing some hours of the day, but they also maybe own a business or work in another business where they're actually using the skills that they're teaching the students to help them stay up to date. On up beyond above that is engage. We did talk a little bit about this already with the small class size ratios. That really does promote that high level of personalization in the classroom for the students and for the professors, and then also that practical real world approach to learning, with some additional training outside of just the lectures. The guided pathways that we have talk about how students can take their bachelor's degree and move some of those credits or into a master's degree while taking master's degree credits while on the bachelor's level. So it helps to save them time and money. And we call it the pathway approach to education. So being able to double use some of those courses, there's lots of information about this on our website, but double using those courses to, students can take up to one semester of their graduate degree in their undergraduate degree that can be used for both. So it saves them a full semester of time, obviously the tuition dollars, the living expenses and things like that they would be paying while they're here. And then at the top of the list is accelerated. So Herzing does offer courses 3 semesters a year, which allows students to complete a bachelor's degree in just 3 years. And then most of our master's degrees, or actually all of the ones we're talking about here today, students finish those in just 4 semesters. So 16 months of enrollment, and students are finished with those. Now, some students do decide to take a break as they go through their program. So we had a lot of students returning yesterday from their summer breaks. If students take a break, obviously they can't finish the bachelor's in 3 years or even the master's in 16 months, but 16 months of actually taking classes. So if you take a break, obviously you have to fill in that class time. So but accelerated courses can really help students to get through these quickly so that they can get to their whatever their educational and career goals are faster.
Thank you so much, Nisa. So, thank you so much for giving us an overview of what Herzing University is all about. Of all those 5 important things you enumerated, I love when you mentioned the word support. I've noticed a lot of, students right now needing or might need a lot of support, even as little as support from their faculty. And I'm very glad, that Herzing University has that and offers, any support in any angle. So I really love that. So now let's shift our focus to the graduate programs, particularly the common pathways for MBA students. To give us a deeper dive into the MBA offerings at Herzing University, I'd like to invite Denise to share more details.
Sure, thank you, Kayla. And again, thank you everyone again for joining us today to learn a little bit more about Herzing University and our opportunities available through our graduate business programs. So I'm excited to walk you through the details of our MBA options and show you how they can help you reach your professional goals. All of Herzing's MBA programs share a common focus, and that focus is to prepare graduates to be ethical, innovative, data-driven leaders. So no matter which MBA program path you choose, you'll gain a strong foundation in your business strategy, leadership, and decision-making that you can apply immediately in your career. So some foundational business skills and knowledge in accounting, finance, marketing, and operations, these will give you a full scope or help to ensure that you have the tools when you graduate to understand how to manage organizational functions. So some common factors will include our ethics and responsibilities. Our MBA program emphasizes ethics and a commitment to corporate social responsibility. And what this does is it prepares graduates to lead with integrity and make decisions that balance profitability with positive social impact. We also have a focus within our programs on diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility. And these principles help students to develop inclusive leadership skills, strengthen collaboration, and create workplace cultures that value diverse perspectives. Innovation and change is another common focus, and students learn innovation and change management, as well as sustainable growth strategies in order to lead organizations through transformation while ensuring long-term success. And we also have a global perspective. This is where we focus on global business, which helps to build awareness of international markets and develop cross-cultural communication and management practices to lead in multinational environments. So with this global perspective, our students can lead in almost any environment. And we must not forget our data and analytics. These programs also integrate data and analytics throughout the curriculum, training students to use data-informed business practices for decision-making, for financial analysis, and strategic planning. And our ever-evolving artificial intelligence program. Artificial intelligence is infused throughout our programs to help improve forecasting, enhance customer insights, and support strategic business decisions. So these are some of the common areas within our program. Our curriculum. So you may ask why choose Herzing MBA. Our curriculum is career focused and it's practical. What this means is what you learn today, you can apply it on your job tomorrow. So the format of the MBA program is fully on ground with about 2 or 3 classes that's taken online. As was said earlier by Anissa, there is no GMAT, there is no GRE required to apply. We want to make graduate education accessible. We also have rolling admissions, so you can start when it's right for you without waiting for a 1-year intake. We are proud as Herzing to say that we have more than 50,000 graduates to date in these programs. And what is important also is that Herzing supports industry certifications. So we reimburse students for up to 3 industry certification applications. And this means you are not just earning a degree, but you're also preparing for professional credentials that employers value. Our MBA at Herzing prioritizes preparing graduates for leadership roles across a wide range of industries. So you have industries like business operations, marketing, finance, healthcare, HR, IT, consulting. So graduates are able to step into positions like operations manager, marketing manager, financial manager, HR manager, IT. The program is designed so it is versatile so that you can pursue leadership in whichever field best aligns with your goals. So on this slide, you'll see that our MBA highlights some outcomes, which includes business analytics, which means that you'll graduate with the ability to interpret data and apply it to real-world decisions. We also look at ethical leadership to ensure that graduates know how to lead teams responsibly with integrity and accountability. Again, back to that global perspective. That helps to prepare students to work in international environments, to manage across cross-cultural teams and global challenges. Data-driven decision-making, what we're saying here is that we ensure our graduates are equipped to use matrix, dashboarding, and analysis to guide strategy and operation. Effective communication is important. It doesn't matter which area you choose. That is important as it gives you the ability to clearly explain ideas, present your findings, and influence stakeholders. So the curriculum features courses that are designed in business leadership context so that you don't just learn theories, you apply them directly to scenarios in management, in strategy, in operations, and in change leadership. So when you graduate, you are not only understanding the concepts, but you also know how to use them in the workplace. The MBA program is designed to be completed in 16 months with 33 credits, and this is our general MBA program. It includes some general courses that prepare you or helps you build that foundation. And those courses are like leadership and team dynamics, maybe leading change, economics, strategic human capital, strategic risk management. These are just a few of them. As part of this program, you are also able to complete a capstone project or an internship. And what this does is this ensures that you leave with the applied learning that ties the entire program together. Another key feature of our general MBA will be our certifications. We make sure that our program is connected with industry certifications. So throughout the coursework, you'll see that you'll prepare for certifications such as the CAPM or the PMP for project management, your SHRM CP or your SHRM SCP for human resources. And as I mentioned earlier, Herzing also reimburses for up to 3 certification applications. And this is a huge financial benefit. Certifications are important. As you think of your role in completing your degree or MBA program, you want to think certifications as well. Certifications are going to be important in this context because they validate your skills to employers and give you the competitive advantage in the job market. So pairing the MBA with recognized certifications will tell the employers when you go into that work field that you're ready to perform at that professional level from day one. So Herzing you kind of bridges the program with the certifications to make sure that you are ready for the workout world when you graduate with us. Next, we have our MBA with a focus on business analytics. And this program prioritizes preparing you not only for business leadership, but also in the technical and analytical skills that will help to shape you for today's workplace. Our workplace today is evolving. This program, as I said earlier, is our STEM designated program. And what this signals is that the rigor, it has such a rigor in science, technology, engineering, and math. This is especially valuable for international students. And why is because it allows international students to apply for that optional practical training, which we call our OPT, in the US after graduation. And I'll touch a little more about that in another slide, but just keep that to the top of mind as you are thinking about the STEM designated program. The MBA in Business Analytics this applies across financial, technology, marketing, engineering, and strategic planning. So you will develop the knowledge and skills in artificial intelligence applications, data analytics, and technology-driven leadership. This equips you to solve problems, to leverage AI, and make data-driven decisions that move organizations forward. So this program, what it does is it combines leadership with advanced technical skills, ensuring that you can guide organizations through data, innovation, and emerging technologies. So the benefits of our STEM program. Employers value STEM graduates. And why? Because they combine technical expertise with leadership skills, making students or graduates highly competitive in the job market. And I was speaking earlier about our OPT. The benefit of the STEM designation is especially valuable for international students. Students coming to us on that F1 visa who complete a STEM designated degree program may be eligible to extend to an extended optional practical training in the US after graduation. What this means is that after you graduate, you may apply for 12 months of OPT. That's a minimum up to 24 months, sometimes 36 months, it depends. Those guidelines you'll find in the Department of Homeland Security, but it gives you that opportunity as a graduate to more time to gain valuable work experience while helping you to build your career at the same time. The MBA in Business Analytics prioritizes preparing you for specialized, high-demand roles that combines leadership and expertise. So some examples of these, as you're seeing here, would be your data analytics manager or a business intelligence director, maybe operations research analysts, financial quantitative analysts, and these are just a few of them, maybe analytics product manager, supply chains analytics manager. These are some of the fastest growing jobs in the market, and this degree positions you directly for those types of positions. Our MBA in Business Analytics is 36 credits and is designed to be completed in 16 months. It shares some of the same business foundations as the general MBA. For example, your courses in leadership, your courses in economics, your courses in change management, human resources, accounting, marketing. These are some core courses, and this program shares those courses with our general MBA. But on top of that, for this particular program, you can take advanced analytics courses, and these are things like Foundations for Business Analytics for Leaders. You have your predictive analytics and machine learning, your big data, cloud and visualization. Also, like our general MBA, the MBA in Business Analytics, you're able to complete either a graduate capstone project or an internship to ensure that when you graduate with applied real-world experience. So just a side-by-side of these two programs, so you can get a visual of the difference between the two of them. Both programs, but let's look at the credit hours first. The general MBA, 33 credits. The MBA in Business Analytics, 36 credits. Just one additional class for the Business Analytics, but the same 16 months to complete. Our program focus in the general MBA is on leadership, strategy, and this gives you a broad leadership and management preparation across various industries. The MBA in Business Analytics adds in-depth predictive modeling, AI, and big data, which is perfect for students who want to lead through analytics and technology. Our target audience, you'll see it, is if you want to be a general business leader, the MBA is for you. If you're a data savvy, want to be a data savvy professional, then the MBA in Business Analytics is for you. You see that the STEM advantage would be the OPT, which is that extension for international students for the MBA in Business Analytics. Both courses, certifications, you have that option to have us pay for 3 certifications, industry certifications, but we have certifications embedded throughout the program that align to the courses. And as I said before, both can be completed in 16 months. So which degree do you take? Both degrees can advance your career. The choice depends on whether you prefer a broad business approach or a specialized analytics focus.
Thank you so much, Denise. Monsef, would you like to say something?
Yes, please. I had a question in mind I would like to ask Denise on which courses in the MBA Analytics provides hands-on training with real analytics tools?
Okay, so if you go back a slide for me, let me just. Okay, so no, sorry, two forward. Right here. So if you look at, for instance, our project management for business leaders, that we have some tools in there for project management as well. The predictive analytics, we do have some tools in those. So all of those courses, all of the courses are directly related to analytics. all of them have
Okay.
tools embedded that our students can practice and actually get that practical experience as they are preparing. Our instructors were our industry experts, and those are the ones who would have also developed those courses to make sure that whatever tools we use within them, they're using out there in the real world. So all of those courses, or marketing engineering, or big data and cloud visualization, all utilize data analytics tools. So we have Python in some of them. It depends on the course. And some of them not only have one tool, but some of them also have multiple tools so that students get the experience with different types of tools for the particular course they take in.
Great. Thank you, Denise.
Thank you so much, Denise. Anything else you'd like to add, Monsef? Or shall we
No,
go to the
let's
next
carry
slide?
on. That's fine. Thank you.
All right, perfect. All right, thank you so much again, Denise, for that very insightful overview. Just a quick reminder and a quick advertisement to everyone. Don't be shy about asking questions. So I'm sure many of you already have a few in mind. Feel free to drop them in the Q&A box just below your screen. For any of our speakers, they will be happy to answer as we go along. Now, moving on, when it comes to choosing university, one of the first questions on everyone's mind is usually the budget, right? I know that was the case with me before. So, of course, we think about the tuitions, financial support, and of course, the availability of scholarships as well. So, to help us understand better, so let's bring back Anissa. So, Anissa, could you share with us, how Herzing University offers scholarship, or like, do you offer scholarships as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll just do a little program comparison here, similar to how Denise shared her side by side. Mine's going to be a little on top here. So all of our international students receive a scholarship every semester of $5,000. And for our MBA programs, that adds up to a total of $20,000 over the course of the 4 semesters of enrollment that they have. So after the scholarships have been applied, it makes the total tuition fee for the program what you see there, kind of in the middle top part of the slide. So if you remember, the MBA program Denise mentioned is 33 credit hours, and the MBA in business analytics is 36 credit hours. So just one more class for that program. And so you see the total tuition for each is very similar, right? It's just the tuition is charged by the credit hour. So the MBA in business analytics is slightly more just to accommodate for that additional class. But the total tuition and fees for the MBA program is $23,725 US. That is after the application of the $20,000 in scholarships. And then the MBA in business analytics is $25,600 US, again, after the $20,000 in scholarships has been applied. So, and this tuition is all inclusive, and it is spread out across the program. So, for example, if you have 4 semesters, you're going to have 4 payments of roughly, I don't know the math on it right off, but basically you can almost divide that by 4. The first semester does cost a little bit more because we do have a first semester kind of international student service orientation fee that we apply to the first semester. But after that, they'll be pretty equal. And students just pay their tuition before the classes start each semester. And that tuition, again, is all inclusive. It includes the use of all their technology, all their textbooks, everything that they need on campus, everything. So there's no additional out-of-pocket costs, even as Denise mentioned, for certification. So if students want to do those certifications, they do actually pay for those out of pocket, and then we reimburse them once they send us proof that they have taken the certification exam. So everything is all inclusive. We'll never come back to a student and say, oh, no, you've got to pay, $20 for this, or, $100 for this book or something like that. Everything is going to be included there in that tuition price. And I will say that our MBA program, feel free to look around. The tuition for our MBA program is very, very, very competitive. And it will be difficult to find an MBA program that is such high quality as ours is, for close to this tuition amount. We're really proud to be able to offer our MBA program at this level.
Perfect. Thank you so much for the comparison, Anissa. Now that
Sure.
everyone has a clear idea of, the cost involved in pursuing an MBA at Herzing, the next big question is how do you actually get in? So, what are the admission requirements and what does the application process look like? So, to walk us through these important details, let me now welcome Monsef.
Thank you. So now let's take a closer look at the admission requirements. Each of these documents is essential for completing the application and securing admission into the MBA program at Herzing University. First of all is the application form. The application starts on our CUS Gateway platform, which is the central system we use to process all applications. This is where students officially submit their details, so it's very first step in the journey. Counselors could make sure this is done carefully and accurately, as it sets foundation for the entire process. We also require a passport ID, so every applicant must submit a clear copy of their passport. This is essential for identification and later on for I-20 issuance. An English proficiency certificate is also required. Students must demonstrate English language skills. The minimum requirements are 80 for the TOEFL exam, 6.0 in the IELTS, 61 for the Pearson test of English, and finally 100 within the Duolingo. In terms of academic requirements, all students are required to hold an undergraduate degree and must provide a copy of their bachelor's degree certificate. We also look for a 2.7 GPA and above. If student has a GPA between 2.3 and 2.7, they can still be considered, by that they will need to submit a statement of purpose to support their application. The transcripts or official transcripts. All applicants must submit their complete academic transcripts or mark sheet, including any failed mark sheet along with the degree certificate. This helps us review the full academic history and confirm the eligibility. Finally, a certificate of finance is required to be submitted by students. So students must show a minimum of $30,000 in financial documentations. This is a US visa requirement to demonstrate they can cover tuition and living expenses while studying. And once these documents are submitted, the student understands there are also additional enrollment documents that must be completed. The accreditation disclosure form, which is an understanding of the status of Herzing University. A consumer information disclosure form, which provides the students with the important information about their rights and responsibilities. An enrollment agreement is also required, and this will confirm the university program details and policies. And finally, an international student statement of understanding. So to summarize, every student must prepare for the application form on CUS Gateway, a passport copy, an English test, undergraduate degree and transcripts, and finally complete the enrollment documents. By having this checklist, counselors can confidently guide their students step by step through the admission process.
Thank you so much, Monsef. So I'm very sure, we have answered some of the questions already. I saw a few had been answered already by Anissa. Thank you so much for that. So any more questions, feel free to drop it down below on the Q&A. But if there are none, we can conclude the session. So thank you all. Anything that you'd like to add, Anissa and Monsef?
Yeah, Kyla,
Yes,
I want
please.
to say,
Go ahead, Vanessa. Sorry. Go ahead,
I was
Vanessa.
just
It's
going
all
to
right.
say,
Thank
there
you.
was one particular question that I did want to answer so that everyone was able to see it. I answered it here in the chat. And it was asking questions about how many classes per week, kind of wanting to know about the schedule, like how many classes per week an MBA student would usually attend, and is the schedule flexible enough for working professionals? And asking that question for an international student is really, really a loaded question. So I wanted to make sure that we address that here. So international students are only allowed to work in the USA in very limited capacity. So we didn't really talk about that a lot today, but the main working opportunity in the United States for international students is after graduation. So that's the OPT and the STEM OPT for STEM programs that Denise mentioned. Also, students do have an opportunity to take CPT if they select the internship instead of the graduate capstone course. And so that's also close to the end of the program. But while they're in their actual course, there's very limited opportunities for international students to work. So we have some positions on campus that are available where students are able to work either at our front desk. We have about 5 or 6 students that work there. I have 2 students that work for me in my office. We have 2 students that also work in our IT and tech support office. And frankly, international students do such a good job on campus. Anytime we have part-time positions available, we're always looking to try to fill them with international students because they always do such a great job. But the question specifically said, is the schedule conducive to working professionals? And I do want to be clear that any international student coming to the USA, their number one priority should be their studies. It is not being a working professional. And so is the schedule conducive to a working professional? I'm going to say no, probably not. But students do usually attend 2 to 3 days per week, depending on what classes they're scheduled for. It does vary from semester to semester, and the class times could be all over the place. You know, we have some classes that start at 9, some that start at 1 in the afternoon. It just really depends. But it is really important that students have the expectation before they come to the US that they will not be working while they're taking this program unless they're working for the university. Again, there are some other circumstances in which a student could work, but they are very rare. I can't even say that I see them very often, like students on some kind of hardship, which you have to be here for a year before you can do that. If a student's from a country that is on the TPS list, which is temporary protected status, but again, not very common, really unusual circumstances. So we do want to be sure that everyone out there understands that international students are coming to the US and their main priority is to study. And that's what their focus is while they're here. So like I said, that was a really loaded question to ask. So I wanted to make sure that I explained myself as I gave the answer. And that's really what I want to say. And then I did see another question that I haven't answered yet that asked specifically about the total fees. The total fees were there on the slide before. This was from Alicia, who's on the call. The MBA program total fees were around 20, I don't remember them exactly, but around $23,500. And the MBA in Business Analytics program was around 25,000 US dollars. So that's the total. And also specifically, if you submitted your application already, I do recommend following up with our partners here at InUni. If the application was not complete, they would not have referred it through to Herzing University yet. And so it could be that something is missing. So maybe if you didn't provide your language, or your passport was expired or blurry or something. So maybe go back in and check on your application in your portal and see what you see there. That would be my best advice. Otherwise, once Herzing gets it, we do process it really quickly, but InUni does wait to send it to us until the application is complete.
Thank you for
And sorry,
explaining,
Monica, for
Anissa.
cutting you off.
Thank you for explaining, Anissa. Yeah, before we go to Monsef, I would like to encourage everyone who's still here, feel free to drop your questions while we still have, an opportunity so our speakers can address it. Now, Monsef, sorry, going back to you. Is there anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, thank you. I have a common question that arises from both students and counselors regarding the English proficiency. So, how flexible are we if a student slightly misses the required score? Are there any pathways or conditional options to be considered from Anissa or Denise? How can you help me answer this question?
Are you referring to language or to the GPA?
Yes, No, I'm referring to the language. So if a student slightly miss the required score, for example, in Duolingo, if a student has got 95 in Duolingo, are there any flexibility or any solution that we might offer to our students, or just do they just need to sit back for the exam and get the required score?
Yeah, so they will have to have the required score. So that is
Okay.
published in our catalog, and because it's in our catalog, we have to uphold that, or we can get in some trouble ourselves from the Department of Education and our accreditors. So if we put a standard in, that's a minimum standard. Students do have to hit that standard to be able to be enrolled. I would say if a student doesn't do well, or maybe misses it by just a few points, often sometimes just taking it again, right after, especially if they just miss like the Duolingo, like you said, we require 100 if they get a 95. Sometimes just having, that experience already on the test and knowing what it looks like can really help them the second time because they've seen it before and
Okay.
they know what to expect. They can kind of strategize a little bit and, kind of have a little bit better forward outlook on what the exam is going to look like. But yeah, students do have to hit those minimum score requirements to be able to be considered for admission.
All right. Thank you. Well noted.
Sure.
Thank you so much, Monsef. So I'm not seeing any more questions. If that's the same as you, so I guess we can conclude the session for today. Anything else before we end? Anything else you'd like to add or like to clarify? Yes, Monsef.
Yeah, I just want to say to our students and counselors that our application for spring and summer 2026 are now open. So we are welcoming all applications from students and counselors. We also have started our deferment process for those interested in transferring their applications from uh, previous intakes to 2026 intakes, either spring or summer intake, and will be eager to assist through this process. Thank you.
Thank you, Monsef. Any
Welcome.
additional, inputs or something you'd like to say, Anisa and Denise, before we part?
I'm fine from my side. Thank you.
Thank you, Monsef.
Same. I'm great
Okay.
too, Kyla. I just want to say thank you again to everyone. A special thank you to Denise for doing this webinar today. We really appreciate it. Really insightful. I learned lots of new things myself about our MBA and our MBA in business analytics programs, and I really, really appreciate you coming on today and spending time with us.
And thank you so much. And thanks to all of you for having me. I do want to encourage our students or potential students on this call that it is up to you, whichever path, as I said before, you select, whether it's the general MBA, which for that broad management approach, or the specialized analytics, that you determine your goals and decide which program fits you best.
Well, thank you so much, Denise, Anissa, and Monsef. You are all exceptional. Thank you for being here and for making time for us today. So that concludes our session. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Please, lastly, please make sure to check out our social media pages, specially created for international students. So we hope to see you again very soon and take care. Bye bye,
Thank you.
everyone.
Bye
Bye,
bye.
everyone. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.